Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has dismissed Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo's warning to seek security clearance before visiting his state as baseless and politically motivated. Speaking during a visit to his alma mater, Christ the King College in Onitsha, Anambra State, Obi emphasized that his visits are driven by a desire to invest in people and uplift communities through education and healthcare. He criticized Governor Okpebolo for politicizing acts of charity, stating that the governor should instead complement his actions. Let's take a look.
Opportunity to go to Benin and make any donation minimum. Will you still?
Oh yes, every day. Trust me, I will go to Benin. No, there's no threat. All those things are, like I said, it doesn't make any meaning to me. You know how many times I'm trading all over Nigeria? I receive threat every day, actually. The ones you're hearing is vocal. I receive threat every day and I'm everywhere. We should stop talking about politics and talking about stress and waste of time. What I want us to always be talking about, how do we build a better future for our society? Our society is not going to work by threatening people. Our society is going to work by investing in people. I went to Benin to invest in a better life of the people of Edo State. Because if they have good nurses, good doctors, they'll live a better life. What the governor should have done is to complement what I'm doing in his state. He should actually be sincerely grateful that I'm working with him.
And this is the point. The governor should be sincerely grateful that people are coming into his state to work with him to develop such, critical infrastructure or critical places in our society. School, healthcare. I believe he donated in Anambra State about, 15 million again? Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a reminder that we need to just be really careful about localizing our outlook. We're coming from the statements from Kwankwanso where he's saying that, the north. Now you have a governor who's saying, my state. No. We have to remember that all of these are subcategories of the bigger geographical expression that is Nigeria. So anybody should be welcome to do any activity that uplifts any Nigerian anywhere in the state. Now I'm happy to see him exhibit what Rufai earlier called stubborn righteousness. Righteous stubbornness. Yes. And that's the criticism that I was making earlier, or rather people were making earlier about the new chairman of the APC Nentawe, Yewata, to say that this man is a gentleman. Can he bring the gra-gra when he needs to? And Peter Obi, in the same breath, we can say he's a gentleman. He's always very gentle and calm. But it's good to see that when there's the need for that gra-gra, because this gentleman thing, unfortunately, in our politics, it doesn't get you very far. You need to be able to become a bit rugged when the need calls for it. So I'm glad to see that he's not deterred. I'm glad to see that he's, persisting with his work. And let's keep going. Let more people join in and do their own part in whichever part of the country they so desire, because they have every single right to. Nobody can stop.
Well said. Acts of charity should not be politicized.
I wrote it down. He says, our society is not going to work by threatening people.
Yes.
Our society is going to work by investing in people.
This is it.
I went to Benin to invest in a better life for the people. Peter Obi.
That is it.
And I think that should be the message to everyone that is involved. The second message is I visited CKC Onitsha. That's one of the best schools in this country at a time. When I arrived at the University of Calabar, the students of CKC Onitsha, they were walking like this. Very proud.
Very nice uniform.
Very confident. They will tell you, I'm from CKC Onitsha. But we did battle. I was able to beat all of them. To the first prize. That's a school that has a great history. I hope they have sustained that tradition. They have sustained that tradition of excellence in CKC Onitsha. One of the best schools in this country at a time. But everything in Nigeria has gone south. But I hope that's not the case with CKC Onitsha.
This is a good thing. He's going back to his alma mater. It's a good thing. He's going back to his alma mater.
We know his school. That's what you're saying. But I'm glad that he's not deterred. And like he said, acts of charity should not be politicized like this. I mean, there was no need for all of that rancor.
So Peter Obi finally responded to Governor Monday Okpebolo. However, that's not the purpose of this video. I think we can now comfortably agree that the mandate of Peter Obi centers around education, health, and infrastructure as a whole. So if you have been asking yourself, what do Peter Obi represent? I think by this time that question has been answered. So Peter Obi visited his alma mater earlier today and he donated the sum of 50 million naira. This man must really be a man of large heart at this time where things are very expensive and life seems to be a bit tougher for so many persons. You don't know how much that 50 million can reach. That's actually far-reaching. You don't know how much it will solve. At least for that school, some things will change. Some of the complaint of the principal of the school will be addressed. So imagine if such kind of act, such kind of benevolence seems to reach other institutions. See how much would have changed. Imagine if we had other philanthropists who are actually doing similar work. Imagine how much this country would have changed. Imagine if all our politicians were this benevolent. You would have imagined the kind of healthcare system we had. You would have imagined how much would have been competing with the global community in terms of education. Least I forget, I heard Kwankwaso saying that Tinubu's government is not favoring the North. I don't know if Kwankwaso, who was once the presidential candidate, his plan was that when he assumes office, he will focus on the North, because I think that statement somehow do not represent him well. However, looking at the South, is it Cross River State they want to tell us that Tinubu's government is favoring? Or is it Akwa Ibom? Or do they want to tell us that it's River State? Maybe because of the body language, we might want to suspect River State is favored. But if I'm not wrong, is it Benin, that is Edo State? Or is it Delta State? I would really want to know which part of South is really favored. Is it Edo State that is suffering with herdsmen? Maybe is it Cross River State, that the northern part of Cross River State is having some community crisis? Maybe is it Port Harcourt that caretaker community is in charge of? Maybe is it Akwa Ibom State that the governor is APC, or Cross River State that the governor is APC? But I really want to know which part of the South is benefiting. However, should we turn to the East? Is it Imo State, where herdsmen is ravaging? Abi is Ebonyi that is suffering similar thing? Or do we want to talk about Enugu? Is it Abia State? Maybe it's Abia State because Governor Alex Oti is really changing things there. I would have really want to know which part of Nigeria is really enjoying this favor. I heard APC have actually nominated or appointed a new chairman of the party. Turning over to that aspect, this government seems to have been doing bend down and select, because if you want to talk about the number of appointments or appointees in this government, it's actually time we award them that. We should give them their flowers, because the number of persons they have changed over and over and over in different offices. Maybe that was the change they promised us. APC change, or renewed hope. Changing persons from offices to office, yet same result. I don't know what the vision for this government was. I heard we are planning to install solar panel. I hope that will change the economy of the country. Anyway, these are just my contemplations. Let me allow you hear from those that are changing the country, those that are causing positive change. I heard Shetima told us we should be hopeful that change is coming. We should be patient. We are patiently dying in hunger. We are patiently suffering security challenge. We are patiently suffering from high rates of unemployment. Naira is continually devalued every day. The cost of petroleum is increasing. The amounts you spend for transportation is nothing to write home about. Business people are suffering with high taxation. I don't know which part I should talk about. Maybe we should patiently be waiting for when the healthcare services is so expensive that the common man can no longer afford. Go to the cheapest pharmacy, find out how much antibiotics cost. Abi, we want to talk about where sanitary pad is more expensive than condoms. Please, I want to know where we need to be patient with. I want to be patient with the hunger we're facing. I want to really understand where we need to be patient. Or the system where those that speak truth to governance are being silent, Please, someone should let me know what we are patiently waiting for. Anyway, Peter Obi, I will plead, and any other person that want to really change this country, let us know where you are standing. Because Ahmed, that is telling us that with the way Peter Obi is doing, it's like he may likely not join ADC. Because he's neither here or there in Labour's party. So Peter Obi, the man of the day, please tell us on time where we stand so that we know where to channel our energy to. For you that are just coming across this channel for the first time, I hope you are subscribed. Beautiful day ahead, because there are more that will be dropping on this channel. However, help me to share this video at this point. Like this video, drop meaningful comments. Tell me what you are thinking. Let me allow you to watch the rest of the video. I look forward to that moment when this channel becomes your most favorite click. For now, stay safe and enjoy the rest part of the video. Cheers.
Please get seated. Get seated, please. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil karim. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, and all other excellencies here present, Your Royal Highnesses, the Emirs of Kano, Gaya, Rano and Karai, members of the National Assembly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by thanking the Kano State government for organizing this occasion and also thank them for inviting me. Let me also thank the committee that has done an excellent work which we all support. At this point, I would like to speak to the members, our members of the National Assembly and State Assembly here in Kano, and all those that we can call our own. We have seen what has happened in the past, and I think it's important for you and all of us to consider the mistakes of others while we have an opportunity to do our jobs now. I remember especially 1999 to 2003, and of course right through to this National Assembly. We have seen a situation where our members were given the opportunity to really represent their constituents, but unfortunately on many occasions they were compromised. We have seen a situation whereby the rich in the country worked so hard to raise a lot of money to bribe members of the National Assembly, especially those who are representing us. And as a result of that, we now have a tilted arrangement in terms of resources sharing in the country. Many people will think that they have won. I don't believe so. Because I believe the issues that we have today in this country, especially in this part of the country, has to do with mismanagement of resources by leaders at the national level and state levels, and even at local government levels. And of course, it has to do with the little that had to be given to those concerned. Now we have opportunity again, and we are very much aware that the rich once more is working so hard to take from the poor. And I'm sure all of us at leadership level in this country our members of Konkosia, members of NNPP, even though what is going to happen is a bipartisan arrangement. People representing us, whether in our party or any other party for that matter, must stand firm and do the right thing. And I want to appeal to the presiding officers, which fortunately I was one of them, to do the right thing when they are considering this amendment. We want to know by name of those who supported A or B in this amendment, because it is very important, and that is what the law and the Constitution says. So we are keeping our eyes on all those concerned. Let me also advise those who are struggling by all means to take everything, to remember that some of the issues that we have in this part of the country today has to do with lack of enough resources and of course mismanaging the little that comes in. And that's why we have insecurity, we have poverty, and so on and so forth. And of course it is happening here mainly, but it affects everywhere, because like desert, it will go to everywhere. Let me at this point advise the federal government, especially on the distribution of federal resources. From the information available to us, it's like most of the national budget is now tilting to one direction in this country. Yesterday I was to come by air. Unfortunately, my air line decided to shift our takeoff from 3 to 8 p.m. I had to come by road. From Abuja to Kaduna to Kano was a hell, terrible, very bad road. And this is the road that was started many years ago, right from the beginning of the leadership of the APC. Now we are told that there is a road now from the south to east. Let me say at this point that we support infrastructure anywhere in this country. In fact, I was telling myself that I wished that road was done before 2023 election, because I was the only aspirant or candidate who traveled to all nooks and corners across this country. I would have used that road. So we support roads everywhere and any other thing that is good for the people, especially for the masses. But a situation where government is taking our resources and dumping it in one part of the country, and other parts of the country are left just like that, I don't believe that is the right thing to do by the government itself. And this is a time for the government to change, to convince our people that the government is not just on one side of the country. Once again, Your Excellency the Governor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hope all those who have got one thing or the other to add to this committee work should do it between now and Saturday, when the committee will come to Kano for the hearing. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the former Governor of Kano State, the former Minister of Defense of the Federal Republic, the former Senator of the Federal Republic, the former presidential candidate of the NNPP, distinguished Senator, Engineer, Dr. His Excellency Senator Dr. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso.
It's not a bad idea to abandon the sinking ship and be absent from a coalition of confusions. Our firm commitment, as we marked 2 years in office, it has been very rewarding. I could see the leadership of the National Assembly, people like Alero of Kebbi and others, embracing the great progressive ideology. I take this opportunity to thank the outgoing, the former national chairman, I would say, Raji Ganduje. I gave him an assignment on the formation of a progressive doctrine that the new chairman, a progressive institute, I think National Secretary will help to refertilize that and coordinate. And we can still take him as a consultant for the work with the new chairman to do that. To me, I'll say that with the space that we have created to allow the aspiring people to join us, our doors are still open, and we should embrace them wholeheartedly. And if you look at it before the end of this meeting, I formed the party of elders as the new chairman wishes to form a committee of national working members to move around the state, the country, and ensure that those who had joined us enjoy the registration and the membership of our party without any difficulty.
Economic Affairs.
Vice President Kashim Shettima welcomes executives of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, to his office, led by the national president, Mr. Jani Ibrahim.
I implore on you to invest your confidence.
The Vice President assures the association of the current administration's commitment to supporting businesses to thrive.
The President speaks your language, the language of commerce. He grew up in that ecosystem. He knows how businesses are run. We cannot meet the $1 trillion economy target without your support and endorsement. And our newly rebased GDP would compound the importance of the organized private sector. And in every society, in manufacturing and industry and agriculture, are the major drivers, are the major creators of wealth. And honestly, our doors are open for robust engagement with NASIMA.
Both the Vice President and the leadership of NASIMA believe that national prosperity is anchored on strong collaboration between government and private sector, a relationship which the National President of NASIMA believes can be sustained through regular engagements.
The private sector
is willing, able, and ready to collaborate with government, to move the Nigerian economy forward. We are particularly encouraged, with his comments, especially when we mentioned to him that the $1 trillion economy target by 2030, we have the capacity, we have the ability, and we will not only achieve it, we will surpass it.
To enhance Nigeria's business environment, the federal government has embarked on tax reforms, streamlining trade processes and investing in infrastructure, among other programs.
Easy, and he leaves you to use your judgment and initiatives, and I trust that's what he did. But he was fully in the picture.
Right. But did he react when you told him you were going to go? If so, what was his reaction?
It's like, I'm indifferent about it. It's okay.
And what was the response of the Abure faction when you came to make the case that you came to make?
They were elated. They are yearning for leadership. And I told them I'm there to do it. They are yearning for an end, so to say, about whatever we're going through as a party. But while I was there to reconcile, I was also reconciling Labour Party and the general public by the same token. I was doing many things at the same time.
So in a sense, you were being, I'm wondering if you were being just politically pragmatic by your move, in the sense that some have suggested that the coalition may well end up anointing Atiku Abubakar as its candidate, and you and presumably Peter Obi don't want to be left in the lurch if that happens, which is why you're making these overtures to the Labour Party.
No. My own thinking was, convince me why I should come into ADC. Where was ADC in 2023? When Labour Party claimed we got 10 million votes, where was ADC?
Yeah, but there's always a time when a coalition comes into
That's
existence.
what I'm saying. The coalition pointed us at, convince me. And the general message is that I am yet to be convinced to leave Labour Party. I am yet to be convinced. And Peter Obi himself, I don't want to speak for him, but when he's okay, he will speak for himself. To the best that I know, Peter Obi is, and I repeated the welcome that Labour Party's arms are open to embrace back Peter Obi. I would like him to again win the nomination of Labour Party and contest in 2027 with or without me.
But you see, the idea of 2027, as good as it is still not something of an immediate interest. The president and the government is focused now on delivering democracy dividend to the Nigerian people. They are focused on governance. They are focused on ensuring that Nigerian people are taken care of. And of course, the fact that if you look at the preceding years of before these last 2 years, the economy was in shambles, and people talk about poverty, we're hungry, and all this stuff. So the president is focused more on that. So the issue of who becomes the vice president, for me, is still too early to be discussed. We have a vice president who is working with the president, and there's a lot of understanding and harmony between them. It is just what I would call some political analysts and some of our colleagues in the media who are inputting some kind of suggestions, motives. So for me, I think we should not really bother too much about those issues. They're still 2 years away. And I believe that when we get to that point, we'll be discussing it. So it is detracting from governance when you begin to talk about who becomes the vice president or not, when you have a team of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his vice president Shetima working together to deliver dividend of democracy to Nigerian people. I don't think we should really be discussing that at the moment.